Ahoy, me hearties. Give me a 5x5 if you are here and you can hear me. I apologize once again, as I often do, for being the same shade as my wall, because I know it's difficult for low vision subscribers to see where I'm at unless I'm constantly moving. All right, let me double check. I'm going to make sure that everything's sounding good, okay, on the various platforms that I stream to. What's up, Duppy? You're here already? 5x5. Thank you, Duppy. Oh my gosh. Oh. I love this new update to Foxhole. I can give y'all's comments pills. I can give you pills. Oh, I don't anticipate using the blue pill too much. Can I make one request? Can methods, can you add a black pill option? I don't know how you would do that, seeing as how like it's all black. But if you could work on that, that'd be great. This is a cool new update. I thought I didn't like it. I just changed my mind. Just like that, I changed my mind. Like the wind. Okay, let me double check that it's gone live, that it's sounding good on the YouTube. Every now and then I mess something up. I'm not perfect, guys. I don't know who told you I was perfect, but they lied to you. Let's see. Hang on just one moment. Am I live right now? I am. Okay, okay. Am I live right now? 5x5. All right. And just one more. I'm going to just one other check. Okay. Okay, it's working. All right, everybody. I'm popping back over to Foxhole. What's up, Duppy? How many people are watching? Y'all chime in. Feel free. We're going to cover a couple things. I was just working on another report. The paper looks blank, looks as wide as I am, but there's words there. All my black pens ran out, so I have red pen. Fun fact, okay? Special note. If you're going to mark on your ballot, okay, because you feel like it, use red ink, because the scanners could potentially see black ink or blue ink if you mark on your ballot, and they might flag that ballot as not scannable. You might have to spoil it. You might have to redo it. If it's a mail-in ballot, it might be flagged for adjudication. So just go with red ink just to be safe. Should you choose to mark on your ballot, put an erroneous mark on your ballot, use red ink, okay? This is my request to you, that should you choose to do that, use red ink. All right, this is scrap paper. I don't know why it's on my desk. So, surely, let's go over what we're going to talk about. And I'm sorry if I'm shouting. We're going to talk about a couple of things, all right? We're going to talk about, surely you've all heard about the Gateway Pundit article from about Tarrant County judge candidate for the Democrat Party, Deborah Peoples, and her alleged ballot harvesting scandal. If you haven't heard about that, we're going to go over it. I apologize for the light. I apologize if it's too bright and I'm just, I'm sorry if I've made you turn down the brightness on your screen. I'll try to fix it in just 1 second. We're also going to talk about an interview that was given by the one and only Hyder Garcia, Tarrant County Election Administrator, to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, which is Democrat-run, Democrat-operated, and whose office is in the same building as the Panther Island project office. There's an office for that project, that project that's taking a lot of time and money to get through. It's a beautiful office. They even have a receptionist. And then we're going to talk about Dr. Presley's most recent update to her Texas Supreme Court case related to the unlawful preparation of our ballots. Okay? Talk about a couple things. We might make some jokes every now and then. Duffy said, I use red ink to write crooks next to 2/3 of the candidates. All right, Duffy. Well played. Adjudicate that. So, is it, Duffy, since you're the only one who's chimed in, sometimes we probably got a couple lurkers. Also, this is what I get. I don't get like a large audience when I go live randomly, and I don't have a set schedule. That's Diddy and Johnny at the EQ Chamber. You want a set schedule, you want high quality interviews, watch the EQ Chamber, okay? That's Diddy and Johnny. They do a good job. I do a good job too, but I do a better job with some things than other things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do a good job with my reports, doing investigations. I do a good job trying to learn what's going on. Not the best at this. Let me try to see if I turn off one of these lights, if it'll sort of even out the color. Give me 1 second. Hang on. I'm going to try to see. I'm going to see. 1 second, Duffy. Let me know if this is better. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, I turned off the overhead light. All right. Well, it's worse. Actually, it's worse. So I'm gonna turn the light back on. Then we're gonna get to it. Yeah, that somehow is worse. All right. Oh. First world problems, right? All right. So for everybody who's watching, if you're on YouTube and you leave a comment, I'll see it. Just so you know. Not that I have anybody watching on YouTube. I miss my YouTube channel with over 400 subs. Feel free to sub to my YouTube channel just to help me fuck with YouTube. I love to do that. I love to mess with YouTube. Make them mad. Make them mad. All right. I'm in a pretty good mood, but my good mood oscillates back and forth because I've been dealing with something for a long time, and I just had a really, really good what I would like to think of as a resolution to the issue that my family's dealing with, but there's some residual issues. So every now and then I find myself oscillating back and forth between being in a good mood and not being ready to be in a good mood. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk about this ballot harvesting thing out of Tarrant County. Now, if y'all follow, do y'all know, if I say CanCon, do you know who that is? It's CanCon is short for Cannabis Conservative, which is very similar to Cannabis in Combat on here on our platform, but it's not the same guy. I don't think it's not the same guy. Well, CanCon has been doing a pretty good job reporting on the various aspects of election integrity for a while, since early 2021. I started following him on YouTube. I was there when I was part of the mass deplatforming, the second round. But they got him, they got all those people that were reporting on it. Anywho, he's now an author for the Gateway Pundit. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to read one of his first big articles, and it's good. Hey, what's up, M1911? How are you? How do y'all like my version of Coast to Coast? I call it Seas to Shining Seas. Isn't that funny? Isn't that cute? All right. Oh, now you see my screen background. Got some cliffs. All right. So here goes the article. Oh, gosh. I hadn't even seen this picture before. All right. So now this says right here, as you can read, it says, newly discovered police body cam footage in Fort Worth, Texas, obtained by the Gateway Pundit, shows that the claims made in True the Vote and Dinesh D'Souza's 2,000 Mules were not exclusive to the swing states or the 2020 election. I'd like to also add in there, or states that use ballot drop boxes. In Texas, the drop boxes are illegal. They're not even legal here. So even still, without the drop boxes, they were able to do this kind of thing. This footage implicates two top Democrat leaders in the county's party: former Tarrant County Democrat Party chairwoman and now candidate for Tarrant County Judge Deborah Peoples, and the director at the Peoples Group, Stuart Clegg. Clegg was also the executive director for the Tarrant County Democrat Party, and Peoples was a member of the Tarrant County Election Board and Commission responsible for overseeing the integrity of the elections. That's she's on that board and commission because she was the Democrat Party chair. That's the makeup of the election board and commission. They have both party chairs on. So, cannabis in combat. Oh no, wait a second. Hold up 1 second. M1911. M1911. Are you telling me cannabis in combat? He passed away? Did I miss that? I'm sorry. I did not know that. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. Yes, rest in peace. He was at one of the events that Diddy was press at and I was there for that. I'm sorry, I didn't even realize that. That makes me sad. You didn't make me sad. It's just, yeah, rest in peace, man. I did not know that. So, terrible. I'm sorry about that. A boneless chicken. Is that so? Did he really, guys? I am so sorry. I am so sorry to hear that. That's terrible. We're taking a break from the article that we were reading because I just found out some terrible news. I am so sorry. We don't have to get we don't have to talk about anything that's like super morbid or anything, but that's really very, very sad. He was really very polite, Wow. A motorcade and memorial is in progress. Okay, y'all are setting one up. Y'all let Diddy and Johnny let everybody know, okay? And Diddy will let me know. I'm not always plugged into this because I got my head so far up. Okay. No, cannabis in combat. Yeah, no, that guy was really polite. He was at, I believe he was press at the Clay Clark event that Diddy and I were press at last. What was that? Last November. So that's terrible. July 15th. Fighter Falcon. No, I made clear earlier that CanCon is not the same as Cannabis in Combat. I just didn't know that Cannabis in Combat had passed away. On a date? M1911. Are you saying that he passed away on a date? I want to say it respectfully. I don't want to be rude or vulgar about it. Not sure how it went down, but it wasn't foul play. Well, I that's really very sad. It's really very sad. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for everybody that was friends with him. I wish that that isn't what happened. I wish he didn't make that choice. If any of you are struggling, please do not make that choice. If it's proven that that is what happened, I feel terrible about that. I feel terrible about it either way. But but please never make that choice if that's the choice that was made. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everybody who was friends with him. I'm sorry to everyone who loved him or knew him or appreciated him. Very, very sad. Well, I'm going to get back to this article, and y'all feel free to leave comments about it. Feel free to talk about it if y'all want to, and we'll continue to pray for him. Mick and Velin from Red Pill Project had just left his place the day before. They were crushed. Fishy story and all news wanted to portray is verbally attacked politician. He verbally attacked a politician. So we all do that. You should hear what I you should hear what I do to some of these guys. I mean, probably Hyder would say that I verbally attacked him. I don't really think that I do, but I can't blame him for feeling that way. But that's all that the news would report, and it was a fishy story. Okay, someone said he got death threats for ripping into Sisolak that way. That was my first thought when I heard. Did Diddy and Johnny know about this? They must. Have they looked into this? They should. I think has anybody looked into this? Is there a video I can go back and watch about maybe somebody's, dive into what's available? He accosted Nevada governor at a restaurant. It was classic. I mean, that happens sometimes. We saw a lot of that with Antifa. I wonder why he confronted Nevada governor at a restaurant with some poignant questions. Huh. We should definitely look more into that. I don't understand why. I feel a little weird about this. Filthy fuck leftists steal elections, try and force death injections, destroy lives, and as soon as you hit back, they portray the victim. Yep. Okay. I got people like that in my family. Like literally, they'll strike first, and if you ever strike back, all of a sudden you're the monster because you're supposed to take it. You're supposed to take it. You're only 3 hours away from him, 1911. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that seems very strange. I didn't know him well, but that's very sad. I'm sorry about that. I would like more information on that. So all we know is that Cannabis in Combat verbally berated someone who very well may have deserved, a dress down. And then he's found dead by an alleged suicide. He had a successful show. He reached a wide audience, right? Boneless Chicken. Is that a YouTube video about it? I can't click it right now. But I will watch that. Thank you, Boneless Chicken. Okay. Let me try to pull that up. In fact, 1 second. Okay. I have it right here. My phone's on 5%. Let me get my charger. And we're going to charge my phone for just a little bit, and then I will play that. I will play that. This is the video of Cannabis in Combat confronting Sisolak right before he was found dead by alleged suicide. Right before Cannabis in Combat was found dead by alleged suicide. Was he married, guys? Did he have a family? This is terrible news. Like, this is terrible news. I didn't know any of this. I missed all of this. Platform was calling out Masons. Okay. I'm gonna let my phone charge for just a minute, and then we're gonna play that. We're gonna play that. All right. We're gonna run through this article real quick. And in just let's see. Let's go through this article real quick, and we'll cover a couple things. But yeah, definitely he had a girlfriend. I'm sorry for her. I'm so sorry. Rest in peace, Cannabis in Combat. He was doing decent work. I know from what the little that I saw, it was good. And he was press. I believe he was press at the Clay Clark event that Diddy and I were at last year here up here in North Texas. All right, and this is the kind of thing that he would have loved to read articles like this. He would have loved to have seen this. I wish he was around to see that the work that we're all doing, it is getting traction and it is exposing lies. It is. If it was suicide, I'm sorry. I'm sorry either way. But, let's maybe look into that more in just a little bit, because I didn't even know about any of that. I feel like so out of touch. So this article by the Gateway Pundit is something that Cannabis in Combat would really love. And it was actually written by a guy that I think he would really enjoy having met him, a guy named CanCon, Cannabis Conservative, but he shortened it to CanCon. And I think Cannabis in Combat would have really liked this guy. And the guy did a decent job with the article. He got a couple details wrong that if he talked to me directly and he let me know what the article was going to be about, I could have helped him with it. But it's okay. I had another guy reach out that was giving CanCon information, but I wasn't briefed on what the content of this article would be. This was breaking news when CanCon released it. Okay. So Clegg was so Deborah Peoples is former Tarrant County Democrat Party chair, and she's now running for Tarrant County judge. Tarrant County Democrat Party chair. She's now running for Tarrant County judge. Here's a picture of her and Heels Up Harris. Okay. Yes, exactly. It is what it is. We must keep up the fight for her. We will, and we will. Oh, excuse me. It's crusty toenails. I don't know what's going on, Gateway Pundit. Do y'all mind? Can we get back? That's actually crusty. My daughter's been using the insult crusty for everything lately, and that's crusty right there. All right. You may remember Tarrant County from the 2020 election. It was a red county for 56 years until the COVID lockdowns and massive push for fraud-ridden universal mail-in ballot system. And also the countywide polling place program, which we need to opt out of. The Gateway Pundit reported back on this back in November 2020. Tarrant County hired Hyder Garcia, who obtained his engineering degree in Venezuela and worked for Smartmatic for 12 years, where he was an executive-level employee. In 2010, Garcia was called a son of a bitch by Philippine Congressman Teodoro Locsin after unforeseen circumstances led to huge election discrepancies in the country. Those unforeseen circumstances, what had happened was Hyder designed the Smartmatic voting system. He designed that. He's a very, very smart man. He designed the Smartmatic voting system, for Venezuela. Well, he was working in Venezuela when he designed it. He designed it for Smartmatic. Then he sold it to the Philippines. Okay. The issue is that his machines did not have a clock that was connected to an external time source. So, and we have this issue here in Tarrant, and Hyder and I have discussed it. Totally different voting machine system, same issue though. That the time and date can be changed manually, and it's not connected to anything outside of the machine. And arguably, that could go to prove that there's no connection out from the machine, like nothing's talking to the machine. That's like that's his reasoning. And maybe this is an issue that is unique to the machines, which is a good argument for getting rid of them. But that was the issue, is that it was difficult to tell when certain ballots were tabulated, if they were tabulated in the right time, okay, or if they were tabulated after the polls were supposed to be closed, because they have time frames like we do. There are limits. You got to close the polls at 7. You can't tabulate votes after that. So because they couldn't really determine when these ballots were cast in, because you could change the time and date at will, it was difficult for them. And that's why he got called a son of a bitch, because that pissed off that congressman, that there was such an unforeseen issue that pretty much made it to where you couldn't properly audit those results. Can't trust them. Can't verify them. Can't trust them. So, but he says, but this story isn't about him. However, it is about an accusation of a long-time fraud perpetrated on the people in the jurisdiction he supervises. In October 2018, 4 women were arrested in a voter fraud ring in Fort Worth, according to the Star-Telegram. That was probably some of that stuff that Aaron Harris worked on, and he actually worked directly with the Democrats to get that. So, they threw some of their own people under the bus, if that's the same thing that I'm thinking of. Quote, members of an organized voter fraud ring have been arrested and indicted on charges they targeted and in one case stole the votes of elderly voters on Fort Worth's north side. These people allegedly were paid to target older voters on the north side, quote, in a scheme to generate a large number of mail ballots and then harvest those ballots for specific candidates in 2018, the statement read. Yeah, but you see, when they get the mules, but they don't get the ones who paid them, you can tell that whoever actually did this investigation is part of it, because they're only going to take down the lowest hanging fruit. All right. So Aaron Harris, you can shove it up your ass, because I know that you worked with the Democrats to get some of this stuff done. And I know that you know who paid these people. If you did a good investigation like you claim you did, then you know who paid these people. All right. Let me make this full screen so that y'all can read it a little bit better. Okay, it says the Star-Telegram. Sorry about that. Let me get this stuff. Let me get this back up. Okay. So it says, the Star-Telegram published a story about the man Charles Jackson in our footage back in 2018. He was arrested and indicted for, quote, providing false information on a voting application. As it turns out, he did a lot more than that. And according to his own admissions, it was at the behest of Stuart Clegg and Deborah Peoples. All right. The following footage was obtained through open records request in Fort Worth. It shows a conversation between Jackson and the officer that he had a conversation with previously in 2016. This engagement on January 3rd, 2020 was not an interrogation, and Jackson was not being accused of a crime or detained for a crime. In fact, Jackson himself brings up their previous interaction and begins to tell him about the ballot harvesting. This is about as casual a conversation one could have with a police officer, so there is no concern that he was potentially trying to avoid any possible negative actions taken against him. So let's see if I can get this thing to play, because this is pretty crazy. Let's see. I don't know if this is gonna load every now and then, like it, Let's see. Let me turn this off. Oh, that'll probably help.
In 2016, two City of Fort Worth police officers encountered Charles Jackson on the streets of Fort Worth. The officers learned that Mr. Jackson was homeless, yet he was carrying approximately $1,000 in cash. The officers questioned Jackson about the source of the money he was holding. Jackson's explanation was unclear about what he had done to obtain this money, but it involved the voting process. The officers admonished Mr. Jackson that what he was doing might be in violation of the law. They suggested that he might want to stop his activities. Approximately 4 years later, on January 3rd, 2020, Mr. Jackson was again encountered by one of the same Fort Worth police officers who had questioned him on 2016. This January 3rd, 2020 conversation was recorded by the officer's body camera.
Right here, you gotta be going with traffic, with vehicle traffic. Same with vehicle traffic. Okay, you gotta have your light on all the time. All right, because you're going the wrong way on there, then you cut across. You'll have your light up, cut it on, cut it off, stuff like that. You can't be riding the sidewalk. You have to ride where the vehicles travel on the side. You on the sidewalk. Okay, you got your idea?
Can y'all hear it? Give me a 5x5 if y'all can hear it.
Pretty well. I can get away. You're back out. Where you saying that?
Got pins. I got movie on.
All right. What's your name?
Charles Jackson.
Which dead bird?
Behind the house.
Behind the house. What are you doing down here?
I'm going to 7 up.
Oh, all right. Hang right here.
They told me about 50 times. I got out there. I give a picture saying I'm a deal with all that, but I ain't going there.
Who was telling you they're gonna buy you stuff?
People investigating. I mean, not say nothing. We take time to go. Okay?
Yeah.
But then the attorney general offered me to open my feet. And when I get time, but get my part, But I didn't feel no bad, man.
So did
He didn't steal the ballots. They were given to him. They were given to him.
They arrested this 203. There were people, campaign managers.
There were people's campaign managers?
They arrested him,
So they're paying you how much for each ballot?
Each time I get going, they give it to them.
To sign the absentee ballot?
Yeah. But that wasn't easy, though. People 65, even old people, 65 and old, they wasn't that easy, like.
They automatically send the applications out to 65 and older voters.
One day I got like $1200.
$1,200?
Yeah, it was like 4 hours. And they give you push to go in,
But did you fill out anything, or you haven't them fill it out?
No, I got to fill it out while I'm talking to them, and then push around and let them sign everything.
So you voted everyone for them?
Yeah, pretty much. And once you go all the movements, they're voting for everybody.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't intend to do that. They're kind of leading them like.
Yeah. And were you telling them that you were doing that?
No, I was told to tell them, like.
What would you tell them when you tell them that how would you on the sign?
I was supposed to say the word, not going to know, and I was telling them, my name and everything, and who I was with, I was telling them all we were doing was, I was told them this. I was told all we were doing was already, we just making sure we got that the system is correct, and they already have information. They have their name, their kid's name, or how old they were, their birthday, their phone number. Is this information correct? Yeah, well, time is correct. Once the time in, vote it, like, you know what I mean?
Dang. So was it a paper ballot or on the computer?
It's both.
Both. So then. So then you'd take it back to Stuart Clegg and who else?
Different people. He's a district chair.
Yeah. And then they.
One lady was on top of that little, we had voting stuff, and she didn't want to vote for this certain person, she didn't vote for that person, but I didn't vote for that man, like,
Huh. Did how much money did you make?
You know, just like 6 months, man. I had gotten the room at Echo, you know, stayed up 6 months.
How much money did you make on that 6 months?
If I was gonna get a lot of money though.
Like roughly.
A lot of money. I mean, yeah. A couple of days, I might got every day, every time I went, I got somebody, you know.
So in 6 months' time, how much do you think roughly?
5 days a week. I say I just average, man, at least $900, $1,200 a week.
$1,200 a week? That's a lot.
So that's what this guy is saying. This guy's saying that he was paid freaking $200 a ballot by Deborah Peoples and Stuart Clegg, okay, to help with her. This was for this at this point in time. This was for one of her mayoral runs. Now, I imagine she's been doing this for a while, and she's not the only one. So I'm gonna do. I sent in an open records request to try and I'm just gonna run like a little. Sort of like a little experiment and see if I can track some of this information myself. So we'll see what I can do. I've requested all of the information from one of her mayoral races. Now, it's important to note that she did all of this allegedly, but she didn't win. So she didn't win. A lot of work. I don't know if it was worth it. So, anywho, that's the story. That's the story. Now, let me play this video. So, this is a video of Cannabis in Combat, and it's not very long, but it says it's titled. This is like a video of Cannabis in Combat arguing with Sicosak. Is that his name? Yeah, Sisolak. Oh, sorry, Steve Sisolak, and his wife at a Las Vegas restaurant. Okay, I'm gonna play this and show it here just because it's easier.
I can't tell you what a piece of you are.
Sorry to hear that.
You New World Order traitor. You're in here without security?
You know what? I want to second that.
Yeah, you piece of shit.
And I hope you agree.
I'm surprised you have the to be out here in public, punk. Out here without a cop, out here without security? Woo! You got you, boy. I'm not moving.
Wait till we find all the money that flowed his way.
Oh, man.
Yeah, hiding the hydroxy.
Oh, you in trouble. Yeah, you better get out of here, Sisolak.
Probably a good idea to go somewhere else.
Where's your security at, punk? Huh? Where's your... don't touch me, lady. Where's your security at? Huh? You want to sell us all down the river? You working for China, piece of shit.
It's called
You f***ing traitors. We should string you up by lampposts right now. Boy.
You know what they do?
So Sisolak banned hydroxychloroquine. Is that what y'all said? Sisolak, let's see. Sisolak banned life-saving meds. I mean, when you go with bad science and people die because I'm sorry, like it pisses people off. So, that's that. And to be honest, what he did was what Cannabis in Combat did wasn't even as bad as what Antifa was doing. Antifa was spitting on people. Antifa was threatening people left and right, people who didn't ban life-saving meds. Antifa was going after them. So I don't know. Like, I wonder if there's more to it. Why would he commit suicide after that? I mean, never had that effect on Antifa when they would make, themselves look like, irate people. So, that's crazy. So I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm really sorry about that. So the next thing I wanted to do is read this. Now, this is, let me get it to where it's, this is I'm trying to rotate this image and it's going slow, so it keeps flipping around in total circles. All right, this is just a clipping from a newspaper. And I want to read this. I want to read this to you guys. This is an interview from Hyder Garcia in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram that he just recently did. There's Hyder looking at some, looks like during one of the machine testings. That's Hyder in his suit. Okay. So, let me see. There he is looking at the ballots. All right. It says Tarrant County voting machines get software update. A software bug that and I was a poll watcher here at the time that they're talking about. I was there. I was watching. I have all of this documented. I even have a report about this. A software bug that delayed Tarrant County election night results during the March primary is not expected to be a problem in November, an election with a high-profile state and local races on that ballots that are likely to draw larger crowds than the earlier election. Okay, the authors at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram are, they're Democrats. So the March results were not available until early the next morning because of a malfunction related to a machine in a tabulation room used for unofficial results on election night. The unofficial results are typically released faster than their official counterpart, allowing for candidates and voters to see who won and who lost sooner. Tarrant County Election Administrator Hyder Garcia explained at the time that each voting machine has 2 USB drives containing identical copies of election results. The results from one drive are sent to a machine via an internet server, allowing the public to get faster unofficial results. Yes, they do this at a rally station. They'll take the records. The election judges will go from the polling location to a rally station. This is me explaining at this point. And they'll drop off all of their equipment. And one of the USBs is plugged into an internet tower, and that transmits results wirelessly through the internet to Tarrant County Central Count. And Hyder doesn't like that we point that out. He doesn't think that's really relevant. It doesn't feel like that's the voting system's connected to the internet, but we feel like it is. Anywho, sometimes Hyder and I we just disagree. Let's see. Election officials opted to transmit the official results stored in the other drive manually after the computer that receives the unofficial results malfunctioned. That procedure was repeated in May during the primary runoffs, a planned decision, Garcia said, after officials didn't have time to test new software installed following the March malfunction. So they're saying that the issue was at the central count computer, and it wasn't receiving the unofficial results that were being transmitted wirelessly. That's what Hyder is saying here. He's saying that the delay was because the central count computer was not working right. Okay. Let's see. It says there is still a final test to be done before the midterm election, likely in the coming week or so, but the plan is to go back to using the original method of disseminating the election results come November 8th, Garcia said in a Monday interview. Preliminary testing has been successful, he said. This allows for people to get a quick view of what's happening with results, he said. Right now, the expectation, Rebecca, is we should be using the unofficial tool and have results early up on the website, Garcia said in a Monday. The Fort Worth Star-Telegram. You guys, you gotta do a better job. Quote, but if we find out this week or next week that bug was imperfectly fixed, we're uncomfortable, then we want to set the right expectation and say, look, we thought it was solved, but it wasn't. It's going to take a long time. So when he says it's going to take a long time, he means the night's going to be long. It's going to take a while to get those results in. The candidates are going to be anxious. Their watch parties are going to be a total bust because we won't have the unofficial results until late or early the next morning. Maybe they can do a faster job this time than they did in the March primaries because they've practiced it again. But if the bug's not fixed, then they're going to do it manually. So whatever. The office, and it was chaos on primary night. It was chaos. Straight up. The office this week is testing various aspects of its voting equipment to make sure it is working and ballot selections properly recorded. In recent weeks, election offices across the country have seen a surge of requests for 2020 voting records, according to the Washington Post. The newspaper reports the rush of inquiries began after Mike Lindell of MyPillow, a supporter of former President Donald Trump, instructed people during a Springfield, Missouri summit to obtain cast vote records from each of the county's election offices. Tarrant County Election Office hasn't been immune to the wave of requests. Dozens of requests for the cast vote records have come over in the last few weeks, Garcia said. He said he has received requests that follow a template. What template? Hyder, what template? Hyder, what? My template? I hope they're using my template because it was a good one. I would say that I worked hard on it, but it took me all of about a minute to come up with that template. I really wonder if it's my template that he's talking about. Who else put out a template? There may have been another template. It could have been the Lone Raccoons template. Mine's better because I cite the Texas election code. I'm just saying. Lone Raccoon doesn't know Texas election codes. You're going to want to know Texas election codes when you're dealing with Hyder. Otherwise, he was going to make you look like an idiot. Let's see. Responses are delayed due to a pending lawsuit, he says. Yeah, that is Karen Wiseman and my rival group, CEITX, who put a TRO on the servers for the 2020 election and then didn't know what to do with them. They've just been sitting there for a long time. You know what was funny about that? What I don't like about their lawsuit is that they put this TRO on the servers, and then it cost our county over $200,000 in taxpayer dollars to replace those servers. And the unlawful elections continue. And nobody can get any of those records off of those servers. Nobody can look at them because pretty much those servers are owned by CEITX, and they're not really doing anything with them. Pain in the butt, I'm telling you. It helps to know. It helps to have a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just helps. It doesn't mean you're going to win, but it sure helps. So the pending lawsuit is why we can't get the cast vote records off of those servers. Okay, Mike Brewster, why don't you take it up with the indomitable TK? Yeah, quit acting like you're doing all of this hard work. Quit acting like you're doing anything at all, Brewster. Slandering me, slandering my name, because I get more done with one finger than you and TK and all of CEITX combined with all your attorneys and all your money and all your volunteers that used to be my volunteers. But then y'all convinced them somehow that y'all had something going on. Y'all don't have anything going on. And people have figured that out. Brewster and TK. You make us all look like idiots, I swear. Let's see. You know, and it's hard enough being a conspiracy theorist without people coming along and making an absolute spectacle of themselves. Let's see. Leave that to me, okay? Brewster and TK, leave it to me, okay? Hell. The inquiries are among hundreds of requests for voting records, Garcia said the office has received in the past year. A group in Tarrant County has been reviewing thousands of records from the March 2020 Republican primary, focusing on the race between U.S. Senator John Cornyn and his opponents, according to VoteBeat Texas. Garcia said the office's budget included a request for a staff member dedicated to answering public records requests full-time. A hybrid bookkeeper/public records position was approved by the county, he said. Okay. I feel like, you know what? So Hyder puts together the office budget requests. This is something I appreciate. Every now and then, Hyder does something that's really good. And I like to give credit where it's fucking due. Yeah, hell yeah. MAGA or bust 1911. I like to give credit where it's due. So when Hyder's done something good, I'll give him the credit. This is good, Hyder. You created this position. I like that. That's a good use. That's a good use of county taxpayer dollars. Thank you. Because TK and Brewster have a lot of questions. They like to ask questions and then and instead of educating themselves, they like to pose questions to Hyder and then throw a fit and act like he doesn't answer their questions because they don't take the time to educate themselves and understand his responses. They they couldn't tell the truth from a lie. They never know. That's why they called me a plant working with Hyder, because I talked to the guy. And they're like, you trust everything he says. I was like, what the hell makes you think I trust everything he says? What part? Okay, it's because they don't show up. They don't show up and actually do anything, or they show up and they just kind of like feel like they're above everybody else. These are like upper middle class people that feel like they don't have to do any real work. So whereas I try to understand what's going on, I don't believe everything he says, but I can easily verify stuff that's telling me that's true. Like this isn't a matter of faith. This is an investigation. Stupid. So anywho, I like this position that Hyder created. This is good. Garcia doesn't expect requests related to the voting records to cause delays related to the November election. Hey, now I'm going to get right back to this. I'm going to finish this last couple lines and I'm going back to this because this is important. Let me tell you what's actually happening in this state. Give me just 1 minute. Quote, priority number 1 is the election, he said. So when there's a conflict of resources, they wait. It's very simple. Garcia has also testified to Congress that in the weeks after the 2020 election, he received threats and had safety concerns for himself, his family, and staff. Well, I don't know who was sending him threats, but I've been accused of sending threats too when I didn't. So I don't know. I don't know who was doing that. It very well could have been Antifa doing that so that Hyder would turn around and tell people that he's been getting threats and people will be like, oh, that MAGA crowd's, like it very well could have been Antifa sending the threats. The man designed a machine meant to steal elections. It allows for weighted counting. Yeah. I mean, look, now Hyder watches my videos. So that's just what that wasn't my comment, Hyder. That's what other people think. Okay. So don't take it personally. It's really not actually personal. It's business. This is a business of America. We are a self-governing constitutional republic. Okay. So when questions come up about our ability to self-govern, okay, they're going to be asked. We're going to ask those questions. We're going to make those comments. All right. Now, if it's not true, Hyder, and the machine that you designed was not meant to steal elections, then I can understand you feeling real awkward about this. You just designed an almost perfect voting machine, but it has a fatal flaw in that it renders our elections unable to be audited. That's bad, real bad. I'm just trying to understand what's going on. Okay, we're all just trying to understand our elections because this process has become way too overcomplicated for the average voter to understand. And that's not right. The average voter should be able to explain not only to themselves, but to their children how our ballots are cast, tabulated, and reported. As it stands right now, they're not able to. They're not able to. Okay. Now, I want to go back to this one section right here where it says, I say right here, you don't know which part. It's right there, okay? It's right there. Garcia doesn't expect requests related to voting records to cause delays related to the November election. This is so relevant to stuff bullshit that I've been dealing with. So CEITX has unfortunately gained a lot of popularity for the claims that they put out there that they're doing all this stuff in Tarrant County. They're actually not doing a lot. There are some really good people that volunteer for CEITX and that are badass investigators, but they're independent people. They're not CEITX's people. They were independent before CEITX started doing their thing. And they work with me too. They're really cool people. CEITX and a few other groups that want control of the investigations in Texas, who have cut me out because honestly, because they can't get me to just do all of this work and then give it to them for them to take credit for. No, because unfortunately I've been burned too many times, and I give people like CEITX all my work and they get it wrong, or they don't do anything about it in a timely manner. And I relied on them. I relied on them because of the claims that they were making, that they had all of this momentum. So I give them my work and they can't get it right. They don't take it seriously. They don't have any respect for it. So I made my own platform and I made my own website to go and report it, to report the stuff that I was finding. Well, recently I was contacted and I was asked to put out a message that people need to stop open records requesting information because it was making us all look bad. And these groups that want control were going to handle it. And that they wanted me to help them put the message out that people need to stop putting in open records requests for whatever records. They said the reason it's making us look bad is because, first of all, we already requested them, so we don't need anyone else to request them. Okay? Secondly, we're being told by these elections departments that it's delaying the preparation for the upcoming election. And so that's making us all look bad. And they said, maybe you could put that out and get people that follow you to stop open records requesting stuff. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't do that. I've been working my ass off to teach people how to open records request information. I provided them a template to do so. It's a short, sweet template. There's no death threats in it. There's nothing. I included the Texas election code, which says that they're capped at charging us $50 for each record that we request. They can't charge us more than that. I mean, I'm doing everything I can to teach people how to fish. And they're sitting there telling me, stop. It's making us look bad. We're taking all the fish out of the water. We have the fish and we'll provide the fish to you when we say that you're ready for fish. When we decide you're ready for fish, we'll give the fish to you. That's pretty much what they're saying when they're telling me to, with all my hard work, all my documents on takingbacktexas.org, detailing what to expect when you're requesting, which is what I should have named the document. It's kind of a play on the what to expect when you're expecting book. I should have named it. I'm going to rename it. What to expect when you're requesting. Okay? Because I did a whole document about the Public Information Act requests in Texas. 17 points I highlighted that for people to get people to understand what to expect. And these groups are telling me that the people that I've taught how to open records request these records are making us all look bad because it's slowing down the preparation of the November election. I said, okay, first of all, no, not going to help you do that. Absolutely not. I spent way too much time trying to teach people how to open records request this information. Secondly, I believe in self-governance. Nobody needs to wait on you to provide them with copies of the CVR, that they have every right to open records request themselves. They have every right, and they know they have every right. Why? Because I've taken the time to detail their rights in open records requests and with the election law. Okay. Third, that it's not slowing down the preparation of any election to be overwhelmed with duplicate requests for the same information. It's not slowing anybody down. That's not how any of this works. I unfriend you because that's not how any of this works. All right. You remember that commercial with the old ladies in the Facebook wall? So this is how it actually works. If I go in and I request a certain record, like let's just say the 2020 CVRs for my county, and then 5 people come behind me and open records request the same documents, the same information. Okay. The county, the county will have already prepared it for me and will have given it to me. The information would have already been compiled. All of the time taken is in preparing the initial request, the information for the initial request. They're not going to start from scratch every time they get an open records request. Like, that's not how this works. They're just going to send you the same thing that they just compiled and sent to me. It's already prepared. It's already prepared. And it's not slowing down the preparation of the elections. Hyder says it himself right here. Now, I understand, like, some of these counties, they really make Hyder look like he's made of gold. They really do, because they're freaking idiots. But to my understanding, it wasn't even a Texas county that made that claim. It was another county that said, oh, all these open records requests are slowing us down. Okay. No, they're not. No, they're not. It's to quit being idiots. Try not being a complete idiot. All right. And when you get 10 requests for the same information, spend the time to compile it for the first request, send it out, and then give it to everybody else. Like, it's not that hard. Go ahead and put it on the county website. Take a leaf out of Hyder's book and put everything we ask for on the county website so we don't have to keep it emailing him. All right? Take a leaf out of Hyder's book and do what your people ask you to do. Because one thing that I'll give to Hyder is that he's not resisting as much as people might think that he would. Him and I have fundamental disagreements about the interpretation of Texas election codes, which we will probably end up going to court over. But it's, again, he's taken the position that the Secretary of State has the authority to advise him to violate Texas election code. See, it's a weird mess that we're in right now. Hyder and I understand one another. And we understand that we fundamentally disagree. And we both understand that requests related to voting records will not be causing delays for the November election. So anyone saying that, especially anyone in the election integrity movement, repeating that like a stupid parrot, they are interfering in my work, which I'm attempting to teach people how to fish. That's how it was relayed to me by a woman that I trust. She said, no, a man needs to know how to fish. Oh, right. That's how I feel. Who am I? I would never, I'm sorry. I said I would never, ever tell somebody not to open records request information that they were interested in. I would absolutely never do that. In fact, I'm doing the opposite. I'm going to encourage them to continue to open records requests. Run a clean election next time if your county's overwhelmed. They should do a better job. So thank you, Hyder, for confirming what I'd already told them. Is that's not how this works. It's not delaying the results. Hyder's probably irritated. He's probably pissed the hell off. He's got about 20 open records requests from me that I'm waiting on. Hyder, I just got a bunch of text messages sent to me between you and Keith Ingram. But I told y'all, I want all the emails. I want text messages. I want social media. I want everything. I want TikToks y'all are tagging each other in. I want Snapchats from 2 years ago when that thing was hot. All right, I want all of it. I'll wait, Hyder. I'll wait. I sure will. Next on the docket, we're gonna talk about. Sorry, I'm like really sassy right now. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Let me check some of the comments. Sorry. Let me turn it down a notch. I don't know. I don't even know that Hyder's watching, but okay. MAGA or nothing. Word. A boneless chicken says, what reason is there for a vote counting machine that allows for adjustments? What other purpose is there? I mean, because it's not connected to an external clock, there has to be some way to set the date and time for whatever region you're in, or like daylight savings time, which we're still doing. We're still doing that. So typical, playing the victim after participating in a stolen election. Venezuela said, design a system where we can adjust the vote tallies. Yeah, we are a republic. Interesting. What reason is there for them to use floating point numbers in the machines? Manipulation with minimal artifacts. Yeah. That's an interesting point. That's an interesting comment you just made. Duppy. Very interesting. Makes me wish I knew more about computers. I can learn. I can learn fast. All right. Now, this is... Okay. All right, guys. If you don't know who Dr. Laura Presley is, you better know who Dr. Laura Presley is. Please visit blackboxvoting.org/ / the case of Dr. Laura Presley. Go ahead and read up on what she's been doing, because this is the woman who trained me. All right. I don't know how many of you will believe it when I say that I wasn't born knowing the Texas election codes. I wasn't. I learned how to do this. So, and I was taught. This is Dr. Presley who taught me how to do this. How to investigate. She didn't have anybody in Tarrant County. So, now this is an item from the Supreme Court of Texas that she has filed. And in this item, in this filing, she is asking for the court to issue a ruling by October 3rd related to the ballot numbering concerns. This is the preparation of our ballots, because our ballots are not being prepared according to law. So related to the ballot numbering concerns, she's asked for the Supreme Court to issue a ruling that the Secretary of State better correct his advisory code that advises counties that they don't have to follow the ballot numbering laws anymore. But the Secretary of State doesn't have authority to do that. But that's what's happened. So these voting machine systems that we're using, HART and ES&S, they designed a software that violates the Texas election code for ballot numbering. And the Secretary of State approved it. Now, I'm not talking about John Scott, because we didn't have a Secretary of State through the 2020 election. We had a man named Keith Ingram, who was the election department chair. He was the one that was calling the shots when we didn't have an official Secretary of State. Even when we have an official Secretary of State, it's Keith Ingram's job to administer oversee the elections department. It's Keith Ingram's job. Keith Ingram approved software that was designed to violate the Texas election codes. So, this ruling in the Texas Supreme Court by Dr. Laura Presley is asking for the court to issue an order for the Secretary of State to clarify that all these counties need to go back and follow the Texas election code, because the Secretary of State does not have the authority. He is not constitutionally ordained with the power to change or amend election laws or create them or waive them. The court needs to tell the Secretary of State that he needs to tell the counties to go back to following the damn law. Order your ballots numbered according to the law. It needs to be issued by October 3rd so that the counties have enough time to order their pre-numbered ballots before early voting starts on October 24th. That's what needs to happen. That's what this ruling is asking for. The case concerns the numbering of ballots to be utilized in the November 2022 general election in Texas. As described in detail in the petition, relators request that the court issue a writ of mandamus to require the Secretary of State to perform his ministerial duty of issuing an election advisory to county election officials regarding the consecutive numbering of ballots beginning with the number 1, consistent with the mandatory requirements of the Election Code 52.062 and the Texas Constitution. Such guidance is necessary to correct the Secretary's current inaccurate guidance to election officials in Election Advisory 2019-23. 2019-23, Section 13.1b. Early voting for the November 8th, 2022 election begins on October 24th, 2022, a fact within the court's knowledge in its official capacity. There is time for the Secretary to issue an appropriate advisory, but only if this proceeding is prioritized and the court renders its opinion and judgment at the earliest practicable time. And they're telling the court, per this new Texas Government Code 22.305, quote, the Supreme Court or Court of Appeals shall prioritize over any other proceeding pending or filed in the court proceeding for a writ of mandamus under Chapter 273 Election Code pending or filed in the court on or after the 70th day before a general or special election. This is what this means. When we've got an election coming up and something has been filed with the Texas Supreme Court or a Court of Appeals, that we need a ruling on that's related to the upcoming election, they have to prioritize the election suits. They have to prioritize this and get this ruling out to make sure that we're running lawful elections. So based on 22.305 and 52.062 and the inaccurate guidance in Election Advisory 2019-23, Section 13.1b, Dr. Presley is asking for a ruling by the 3rd of October. Get it out there so we can get this fixed. Okay? And the other aspect to this is that if we can't get the Secretary of State to change their advisory, or if our counties refuse to adhere to the election code, we're going to sue. We're going to sue for what's called vote dilution. They are not running lawful elections. We can't verify that our votes are being counted accurately. We can't verify that those ballots, all of those mail-in ballots, we can't verify most of them, especially the ones that we know are likely being harvested from voters 65 years and older. They are diluting our vote with potentially fraudulent ballots. And none of our ballots are prepared according to the law. And we're not cool with that. Okay? Some counties have gone back to following the law. So the counties that resist, we're going to sue them. We'll say all these other counties have gone back to following the law and giving their people a more lawful election. We're going to sue you for vote dilution. 100%. That's the next step. Okay? So how do y'all like that? Dr. Laura Presley. All of my affidavits are for her. All of the training that I'm doing is based off of her training. She trained me one-on-one. She didn't have anyone in Tarrant County to look into what was going on. She trained me. Her training is intense. She's got another one coming up in October 17th. It's going to be in Tarrant County. If y'all are in Tarrant County, I highly recommend you attend. Okay? It's going to be great. My training is like for beginners. Her training is a crash course. You're going to feel overwhelmed, but it's what you need to hear. It's what you need to hear. And I've got a real mean affidavit template that I designed for this very thing. I worked with Jack and Margie Flynn from citizensoftheamericanconstitution.net. Spent a long time. They helped me for free. That's why I have a donation link on my website for them if y'all want to donate. Those are constitutional attorneys, retired constitutional attorneys, and they're amazing people. And so we designed this template for an affidavit for Dr. Presley, so that when I had affidavits, they're also used as lawful notification. But they can be turned into a legal affidavit by when somebody files suit. But the way we use them is really for lawful notification, to let these people know that we're aware of these issues and we'd like an explanation for them. Now, of course, Hyder told me he can't respond to that, but he's otherwise responsive. I did ask him to respond to my affidavit, my lawful notification, in writing, and he said that the county attorneys told him not to. But he's otherwise communicative with me, so I didn't push it too much, because either way, that lawful notification can be used as an affidavit in a filing, and they're all for Dr. Presley. I've got several from multiple counties. Those fleeing Venezuela, a boneless chicken, that's a really interesting point. So they're fleeing Venezuela and they're coming here, right? Because they don't like the state of their own country. We all remember those tanks running over those protesters. Now they're coming here. But their country's communist. Maybe we should let them vote, because they probably won't vote blue. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a big problem. Big problem. You know. But, so let me know what you think about that. Night 1911, good night. Let me know what you think about this Supreme Court lawsuit. Because this is what's on the agenda. This is what we're doing. So, yeah. So thank you everybody for watching. How can we allow a simple process where one person fills out a ballot, it is then counted by others, is a testament to the discuss. Yeah. Yeah. We'll figure something out. I mean, really, our election laws are really good. We just need to follow them. That's the issue, is that they're just not following our laws. They're not following them. And unfortunately, in Texas, Chapter 128 of the Texas Election Code has given the Secretary of State a little bit of authority for advising counties on how to comply with Texas Election Code. But the way that it's being used is the secretary is pretty much authorizing the violation of Texas Election Code. And that's not what Chapter 128 gives them the right to do. So that's something that we're going to be doing. We're going to be amending Chapter 128 of the Texas Election Code. And I got to type that up here in a minute. I got to type up the wording that we need in the proposed legislation. So, yeah, it shouldn't be so complicated. A boneless chicken, I 100% agree with you. Like I said, the average voter should be able to explain to themselves, to their grandma, to their child, how our votes are cast, tabulated, and reported. But right now, they can't. It's way too overcomplicated. So we need to go back to a more simple and thereby a more secure voting system. And we'll get there. We'll get there. With people like Dr. Presley, with people like you guys, people like me, and all the good volunteers that are volunteering for all the different organizations, we're getting there. Most of our volunteers are badass precinct chairs. They want me to become a precinct chair, but I'm not very popular within the party. I'm too metal. Yeah. It does seem deliberately overcomplicated. It does. It does seem that way. And Hyder can get upset all he wants, but it do be like that. People think it don't be like that, but it do. It's too overcomplicated. It's way too complicated. Even computer nerds don't really understand. My rival election integrity group, CEITX, they've got a guy that's like an IT specialist on their team. But he don't even know how to do a forensic image of the server. He don't even know what to do with it. Like, he doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know how to analyze the data. Doesn't know how to get the data off the server. I've talked to him. The conversation did not go well. Because he likes to sidestep and not answer questions. And whenever I just finally cornered him, was like, do you know what you're doing? Can you not answer my questions? Are you sidestepping because you don't know the answer to these questions? Okay. It's okay not to know. It's not okay to waste 2 years and $200,000 of taxpayer money. That's not okay. I'm not cool with that. So this other group needs to just, figure it out. You know what I'm saying? They better figure it out. So, y'all have any questions at all? I would reduce the voting precincts to streets, to auditors who count them, communicate the results. Well, our precinct sizes are capped in Texas. We're capped at 5,000 registered voters per precinct. You can't have more than that per precinct. And we just got redistricted, so we have a lot less people in precinct. But here's the deal: a boneless chicken. Our legislature, some stupid globalists in our legislature, passed a code introduced in a 43.007, which authorizes counties to opt in to a program called countywide polling place program. And that makes it to where we don't vote in precinct anymore. So fuck precincts, right? Fuck the whole concept of precincts, right? Pretty much. That's why on my website, you'll see a section called Complaint Letter to the Secretary of State. That's about the countywide polling place program, because in 43.007, Provision J outlines that every odd-numbered year, the Secretary of State has to report to the legislature on the progress of the countywide polling place program and report any issues, any problems or concerns. And if nobody files any problems or concerns with the Secretary of State related to the countywide polling place program, he's going to tell the legislature that everything's going great. But in fact, the countywide polling place program is screwing up it's another aspect of our ability to audit the elections, which has been screwed up. And it is so difficult to audit elections that even the Secretary of State's Phase 1 audit progress report was inaccurate because of the countywide polling place program issues. So that letter is a letter to John Scott, and we're pointing out the fact that we know that he has to file a report with the legislature about the countywide polling place program, and he has to include all of our complaints. And there's 7 points. There's 7 points in that article with citation. It's hyperlinked. It's available on my website. If you're in Texas, you can print out the letter. You can print out all of the links that I have and use highlighters to go through and highlight stuff if you want. Or you can send the letter electronically. You can download it. It's a Word document. So you can download it. You can edit it, put your name and your county in there, and send the complaint in that these are the issues that our counties are dealing with when they opt into the countywide polling place program. Okay. So it's one of many reasons. It's one of many aspects that's pushing us away from elections that we can audit, which we're supposed to have elections that we can audit. But the ballot numbering issue and the countywide polling place issue are pushing us further and further away from auditable election results, which is why I did that, which is why I made that letter. Oh, okay. You're an IT person and you wouldn't know how to do a forensic imaging. Yeah. I mean, like this is the thing we're talking about. They don't just give you access to the program to watch. It's very, it's proprietary, whatever. Like that's paid for with our taxpayer dollars. You better let us look at it. I'm sorry. Anything that's government funded is subject to the Public Information Act request. That should include computer programs that we pay for. Smaller the precincts, less centralized, less corruption. Yeah, but a boneless chicken. Yeah, you can have the tiniest precincts in the world. You can have 5-person precincts. But when you have a law that allows you to vote outside of your precinct, the precincts don't matter. It doesn't matter, So, I mean, after redistricting, I would say that we have, anywhere from, 2 to 3,000 people on average in a precinct. So we could fit a few more. But, if you have a staff and we've got a lot of precincts. I mean, we really, truly, we have a lot of precincts. But if you have a staff that can count, then you can get through it. Like, it's not that hard. It might be long. You might need to work people in shifts, and it's difficult to find election workers. I get that. But I also believe that we have to go back to voting in precinct, and the duties of a precinct chair should require them to work the elections. You should be a precinct chair, and your precinct chair and your block captains should be automatic staff. And then the county would just find additional staff to provide to them so that they will have other help. But if you have one precinct chair and 3 block captains, okay, and then and that's for both parties, right? So that's automatically 8 employees per location to count ballots, and then the county or the party can hire additional people from there, But they don't have that as a requirement for precinct chairs. Not in Texas. It should be, but it's not right now. So. Yep, just a matter of deciphering. Yeah, but they won't let you look at the code. So, you gotta crack a digital code now too. Now you gotta be a code. Now you gotta be you gotta learn to code. I always loved that. I always loved that comment. Learn to code. So, anywho, if y'all have any questions, let me know because I'm about to sign off. It's been a minute. What has it been? An hour and a half. So I wanted to go through that, but I'm about to sign off. I'm going to work on a couple other things. I got a few more reports that I got to do. And I hope y'all have a good night. I'm about to sign off. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this Taking Back Texas version of Coast to Coast. Seas to shining seas. If there's anything that y'all want to cover in the next live, let me know, and I'll get it all together. Do my best to get it together. So, I appreciate you guys. I really do. Rest in peace, Cannabis in Combat. I feel terrible about that. I really do. That's horrible. And everybody, just pray. Just pray. No, and don't make that choice. The Howling. Oh, it's a werewolf movie, right? How did you know that werewolves are one of my number one fears? How did you know that? I'm only afraid of a few things, okay? Tornadoes, my mother, and werewolves. Perfectly reasonable fears. Giant squids are also something that wigs me out. Because I like ships, I like the ocean, I like to be out there. Don't want to be eaten by squids. Thanks, Mon. Hey, welcome, Duppy. I hope everything stay irie for you. Okay. Everything irie. Thank you, Boneless Chicken. Thank you. I will. You know what? I think I watched The Howling a long time ago. So. Duppy, you fear celery? I've got celery in a bag in my fridge. Scale of 1 to 10. How spooky is that? I do like zombie films, but honestly, you nailed it. Where it's werewolf films for me. Like it's werewolf films that get me. Okay, Silver Bullet. Oh my God, have y'all seen Silver Bullet? Woo, that's good. It gets me every time. Like I'm never not terrified by that. I'm never not terrified by Silver Bullet. Stephen King, it truly is a fucking freak. But that movie was kind of well done. The gore. Oh, and it was kind of funny too. Like they make some of those old movies funny, but man. Okay, The Howling it's good ambiance. What's another good werewolf movie? Ginger Snaps is kind of interesting. If you've never seen Ginger Snaps, it's kind of a cult classic. It's not that scary. But Duffy says, I hope you're suffocating it. Yes. The celery, it's in a plastic bag in my fridge. It's cold and it cannot breathe. It has no oxygen. It's very crunchy though. I mean, celery's not like my favorite thing in the world, but I'm broke, so sometimes I eat raw vegetables. Oh my God, yes. Thank you. A boneless chicken. Oh man. I watched An American Werewolf in London when I think I was like 10. That was it. That's what did it for me. I have never gotten over the sheer terror of the concept of werewolves. It's been something, that's, I don't know if any of you are Irish, but the Irish have known about werewolves for like a long time. And like it is a thing. Okay. It's a curse and it's hellish. And that movie scared the living crap out of me when I was 10. Like the concept of werewolves was scary before that movie, but oh my sweet Jesus. I don't know what the hell we were doing watching that. We watched Interview with the Vampire, which is truly a beautiful movie. Interview with the Vampire. So I wasn't so much scared by vampires. Vampires are a little bit romantic. There's nothing romantic about a monster ripping people apart. It's just terror. It's sheer terror. A boneless chicken gifted the can for something more fun than celery. It's more fun than celery. I got carrots too. Same bag as carrots. Where celery freaks me out. Duppy, I hope you don't have any nightmares about turning into celery, into a rabid celery monster. 94% Gaelic and 4% Scandinavian. Sweet. We're Irish, Scottish, and Welsh, so. But I haven't done the genetic testing. I don't really need to. Like we have our family tree tracked back pretty far. Also, I don't know that I want to give them my DNA profile. They're going to make another one of me. And then eventually, okay, it's going to be like real life Clone Wars. And I'm going to have to face myself. So that's the only reason I haven't sent my DNA in to get the genetic testing. Actually, my cousin did. And I told her, I was like, well, great. Thanks. Thanks for giving away our position. And she sent hers in, and her mother has a little bit of English on her side, but yeah, it was like 80% Irish and like it's like 10%, 10 or 15% Scottish, and then like a little bit of English, because her mom's side has a little bit of English, but our family it's mostly Irish, and we're Protestant Irish. We're not Catholic. We're Episcopalian, Scottish Reformation. And then my side, my dad's side, a lot of Scottish. I'd tell you the name. I'd tell you my last name, but I'm not going to. For several reasons. But no, I can't even talk about which. I can't even like give a hint as to which clan it is. I can't even say anything about it. You'll figure it out real quick. For Halloween, I rent a bear outfit and wander the shadows of the neighborhood. Yeah, we're a Halloween family. We love Halloween. Welsh history is so flippin' cool. Did a show on it. Really, Duppy? Oh, I missed your show on Welsh history. My daughter and I have been learning Welsh for the past like year and a half. She's so cute. She's got like a whole notebook full of stuff. And her dad was texting her a couple months ago, and he was like, he said, what are you doing? She said, oh, I'm practicing Welsh. He said, oh, teach me a word. So she tried to teach him how to say good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And I was like, girl, texting him Welsh words, he's never going to understand. Like, it's a bunch of consonants. You're going to have to tell him. Panawan. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, Boneless Chicken. You're related to the original bass player in Simple Minds. You know what the difference between you and I, a Boneless Chicken? I do scare the kids, but in like not in like an American Werewolf in London way. I do it in like a real campy, cheesy way that they really like. But I don't like pop out from the shadows because I don't want to actually make any kids cry. But the kids that like to be scared, I like to be available, to freak them the hell out. So I went as a banshee one year, and of course I'm in Texas, so all the Mexican kids were following me and calling me La Llorona. And I was like, well, I was going for banshee, but I'm in Texas, so I guess I'm La Llorona. It was great. I will, Duppy. I'm going to watch your show on Welsh history, like when I go to bed, because it's absolutely fascinating. I love it so much. Have you read the Mabinogion? I've got a copy of it, and I'm also looking for. I don't know. I would like a copy of the red book and the black book from what the Mabinogion was based on. Also, have y'all seen The Black Cauldron? You know that classic animated film, The Black Cauldron? That's Welsh. That's Welsh from the Mabinogion. It's Welsh and Irish, but with it's based on the Chronicles of Prydain, and Prydain is Welsh for Britain. So One of my ex-husband's favorite gifts that he ever got was I found a really badass illustrated set of books, The Chronicles of Prydain, which is based on the Mabinogion, and The Black Cauldron is based on the Chronicles of Prydain. You've used info from the Mabinogion? Excellent. Duppy, that is so cool. I can't wait to watch that show. Yeah, a boneless chicken. The kids really do like to be spooked on Halloween. They're in the mood, they're ready for it. They're, it's fun. So if y'all haven't seen The Black Cauldron, highly recommend it. Duppy, you'll appreciate it if you know about the Mabinogion, because there are in Celtic folklore, there are these magical items, several of them, and they're tied in with Christianity too. Like the Druids were actually monotheistic, so that's why it was not that difficult to convert, certain Celtic people, because the Druids of Wales and Ireland were already monotheistic. But in the Mabinogion, you'll learn about the Black Cauldron, which, if you didn't know about, 3 shows on my page, 4 hours long. Welsh is part 3. Okay, cool. So the cauldron is where it would bring people back to life. Similar concept to the Lazarus Bowl, right? In Christianity, they call it the Lazarus Bowl. Well, in the Mabinogion, it's a Black Cauldron. It's a specific one. Then there's the spear of Longinus. In Celtic culture, it's called the Gaybolg. It was one of Cuchulain's weapons, and it was a spear that when it dealt a blow, it was a barbed spear, and its wounds would never heal. And if you didn't die from blood loss from a wound from the Gaybolg, you would die from an infection, because it would fuck you up so bad that the wound would get infected and would kill you. You'd die from the infection. There's the Stone of Destiny, or the Stone of Scone, which has kind of been stolen several times between Scotland, but it originally came from the hill at Tara in Ireland, and it was taken to Scotland. The crown stole it. They had it under their tacky ass golden throne for a while, because it's a coronation stone. You sit on it and you're crowned king. You're declared king, High King of Ireland, or wherever, King of Scotland, whatever, King of England, whatever. Whoever has it, it's the stone. It's the famous stone. It's that big white rock with the 2. It's like got the 2 iron handles on it. Right now, I think it's back in Scotland. There's a few others. There's the Holy Grail, right? That's another one of the magical items. There's a wand and like a stick. There's also, in the Black Cauldron, there's Princess Eilenwy had something that she didn't know what it was. She called it her bauble, and it was that little golden ball that would float around with her, right? It's actually called a peladrin. So a peladrin's another one of the magical items. And these magical items ended up getting adopted some into Christianity. So you've seen like the staff and the orb sometimes, that whenever kings are crowned, well, the orb is it's a peladrin. It's sort of like it's sort of to represent a peladrin. So it goes back to ancient Syria, Jacob's pillow. Actually, yeah. And maybe even further back than that. It supposedly came from the hill at Tara in Ireland, but this is the thing. If you're Irish, Scottish, you might know about the legend, okay, that Scotland is named after Queen Scota, which is another name for Meritaten, which was one of the daughters of Tutankhamun. And Tutankhamun was the first monotheistic pharaoh of ancient Egypt. And he really pissed off the establishment the priests, the polytheistic priests of ancient Egypt. So he was like, screw all your gods. We're going to go build a new temple. So he built the temple at Amarna, and that was for Amun. He decided there's only one God, right? It's Amun. So he named himself Tutankhamun, and then his kids were he had like 6 daughters or something. Well, the priests like attacked them, banished them from their own country. And the legend is that Meritaten took a fleet of ships, and she landed at Ireland first. Then she jumped over to the Isle of Skye and ended up like settling right on in the Argyll area, which is relevant to my family. Just saying. I'm not saying I'm an ancient Egyptian or anything like that, but that's the legend of how Scotland was actually populated, where the population of non-Picts came from. Because there's like the Picts up there, right? But then there's the Scots are actually different. The Scots and the Picts are not the same people. And you probably know that, Duppy. But the legend is that the Scots were ancient Egyptians that settled at Argyll. And that she brought the Stone of Scone, either from Ireland or with her or whatever. But that she fashioned, she had she had a fleet of ships. She had a lot of people with her that she took that were loyal to her pharaoh, to her father, who was a pharaoh, and he was married to Nefertiti. So she was the daughter of Tutankhamun and Nefertiti. So that's the legend of Scotland, of how the Scots got to Scotland. So but yeah, so there's like an insane amount of really cool history for the Isles. I'm glad you're aware of that, Duppy. That's really cool. I'm glad you're aware of that. Oh, I've been saying Tutankhamun. That's not. No, it's Aten. Isn't it? It's Aten. Sorry, guys. I'm tired. Let's see. Sorry, my phone died. I'm just pulling it back up. Sorry, baby. It is not Tutankhamun. It was Aten, who I'm thinking of. Akhenaten. It wasn't Amun. It was Aten is the pharaoh who went to Amarna and built the temple at Amarna and pissed off all of the Egyptian priests. It was Akhenaten. So Meritaten was one of his like 6 daughters. Akhenaten was married to Nefertiti. I don't know why I was saying Tutankhamun. So, hang on a second. Is everything still working? Let me see. Yeah, Duppy, my bad. I don't know why I was saying Tutankhamun. It was Akhenaten. He was the first monotheistic Egyptian pharaoh. My bad. Correction. I need more coffee. It's 2:30 in the morning. So yeah, no, you're right. So yeah, so that's the concept. I don't know how I didn't reconcile that when I was saying Meritaten, but she's also known as Skota, Queen Skota. So yeah, you are correct, Duppy. It was Aten. Aten is the deity that the temple at Amarna was built for. So Nefertiti Nefertiti and Akhenaten had like 6 daughters, and the legend is one of their daughters, Meritaten, took a fleet after the priests like attacked the temple at Amarna, and that she fled and she landed in Ireland first and then jumped over to Scotland and then settled there and populated that area. That's the Yeah, they're kind of weird. I don't think he married Meritaten, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they were kind of weird like that. It's sad that they intermarried a lot. So, oh, Duppy, good. Yeah, Akhenaten's daughter. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh, Ash, yeah, Robert Sepper has really interesting videos. I agree with you. Like, I used to watch his videos a couple years ago, when I was like really sick for a couple weeks, and I was watching like nothing but Robert Sepper videos. I was like, well, I might as well get caught up, watching like nothing but Robert Sepper. He's got a really good style of delivery. So, yeah, Duppy, I'm going to start watching your shows. I didn't realize you were covering this kind of stuff. That's really cool. That's really cool. So, anywho, yeah, I'm actually going to go like here in just a minute. I'm about to just go and get ready for bed, and I'm going to watch the one that you did most recently on Welsh history. I'm going to watch that. I'm very interested in what you're covering. We're learning Welsh. Oh, I think I mentioned that. My daughter and I are learning Welsh. So we know how to say a few things. And my favorite thing to say is, I know 2 things. Do I have any coffee left? Oh, a little bit. Hang on. Is Huffy Coffee. That means I like coffee and it rhymes. My daughter likes that. Huffy Coffee. So he says Sepper has the worst video titles though. So one of the other things that we like to say is my daughter will sometimes ask me if what I'm drinking is beer, because sometimes I drink beer. So, and I always respond to her, no, I'm not drinking beer. I'm not drinking beer. And we say it in Welsh. So she'll say something like Jahin efed kuru. And I tell her, no, I'm drinking water. Like, dwi dim efed kuru, dwi efed dur. And she can speak a little bit. But she, for some reason, became interested in learning Japanese. And so she's been doing some Japanese. But the Welsh is actually easier than Japanese. Welsh is easier than Scots. So there's Scottish Gaelic and then there's Scots. Those are hard. Those are harder than Welsh. You would think Welsh would be more difficult with all the extra consonants, but it's not. It actually makes more sense. Yeah, Ash, let's both watch Duppy's last show on the Welsh history. That sounds awesome. Or Duppy, if you'll do one on Akhenaten, because he was really interesting. He was so interesting. That'd be really cool. Ash and I will watch that. So, yep. Thank you guys. I'm gonna eat a brownie and drink some dur. What are y'all gonna cover, Duppy? What are y'all gonna cover on Saturday? What's y'all's topic on Saturday that y'all are gonna cover? I'll be working until almost midnight on Saturday, but when I get off, I'll go and check it out. Okay. Yeah, let me know. because I like some of Egyptian history too. I don't know a lot. I only know as it relates to the other stuff that I do know, which is that the legend is that Meritaten is who Scotia's named is who Scotland's named after. So that'd be really cool if y'all did a deep dive on that. That would be awesome. That would be so freaking cool. I'm gonna eat another brownie. Little on the phoenix symbolism and genealogy of some famous people. Okay. That sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty freaking cool. Well, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I'll grab a fresh bottle of Dur. And I will catch you guys soon. Hope y'all have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. Hope y'all enjoyed the election integrity aspect earlier. And a little bit of Irish, Scottish, and Welsh history. And a teeny little bit of Egyptian history. Okay. Ralph Ellis's books. Okay. You said you read a Ralph Ellis book on Queen Scota. I'll look for that. Was it about Scota as like? Well, I'll read it. I'll read it. That sounds really freaking cool. Because that is the legend. That's what they say. that Scota was Meritaten. Bye, Ash. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome. You and God, I'm tired. Sorry, guys. You and Tony, right? You guys are kick-ass. Oh, Ash, I like your page on Telegram, your gardening page. It's so sweet. It's so cute. I like it. You have like a garden themed page on Telegram, and it's really cute. Y'all have a good night, okay? I'm gonna go lay down, wake up. Debbie says he wrote an entire book on Scota, backs it up with real history. That is cool. I would like to read that. Because Akhenaten is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, from what I know. More interesting than Tutankhamun. I don't know why I was talking about that. Oh no, I was saying Tutankhamun. You're welcome, Ash. It's such a cute page. I shared one of your posts the other day because it was actually perfect for something I was dealing with at the time. It was like, honestly, it felt like a message sent from God when I saw that. I was like, wow, I had to share that out. I had to, because surely someone else in the world was feeling what I was feeling then. And when I read that post that you made about the trees showing us how lovely it can be to let things go, that was deep. I felt that. Okay. When I saw that meme or whatever, I felt that. So no, thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I can't wait to go and watch Duppy's show on Welsh history. I can't wait to see if Duppy's going to do in the future a deep dive on Meritaten and Akhenaten and what went down whenever he was pharaoh. Because that's awesome. That's some cool stuff. I only read a little bit about it. And it was because we took Latin in high school. We took several years of Latin in high school. And sometimes when you take Latin, you learn like a little bit about the other classics. So we did like maybe 4 or 5 lessons on Egypt, and we did a project on Egypt, and it was cool. It was really cool. And we learned like a little bit of we learned a little bit about like the hieroglyphs, but we didn't spend too much time on that. We learned a little bit of Greek too, but that was more for context for some of the stuff that we were learning in Latin. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool stuff. Yeah, Ash, you don't understand how like on point that was. Whenever I saw it, I was like, oh God, like I really feel like God gave that to you to give to me. It's like, I don't know. I just felt it right here. So, all right, you guys, y'all have a good night. I'm going to end the broadcast, and I wish you all well. Thank you guys for all of y'all's support. Thank you for being so freaking cool. Thank you for being like unique and having your own thing that you do. And because honestly, if I don't get away from the stuff that I do, I turn into like a kind of a recluse. So I appreciate y'all doing your own thing that I can go and sort of escape into that for a while and just say, wow, it's kind of like walking through someone else's mind and just taking it's like kind of taking like a vacation. So. He says, oddly enough, out of all of Ellis's material, the only one that doesn't fit into my research is Skoda because her descendants were conquered. Well, now, were they? The Romans never got much further than Hadrian's Wall. And I don't want to give away my last name and or any of that right now. Y'all might eventually figure it out, but I don't know. I don't know that her descendants were conquered as much as it might appear. If they're her descendants, if the legend is true, then there's a big I mean, where she landed at Argyll is and has been a seat of power in Scotland for a long time. Normans. I'll need to see what you have on that. I want to see that. I want to know what you have on that. I want to know more about that. If you do a deep dive on Skoda, that would be so freaking cool. That would be so cool. Because I've never known really what to do with that particular bit of legend. I'm just like, well, there's all this stuff. There's all this like uniquely Celtic stuff, right? And Gaelic stuff. And then there's the idea that a significant portion of it was descended from ancient Egyptians. So I've never quite known what to do with that, but that was pretty cool. I was like, I mean, if it's true, that's pretty cool. But I will, Duppy. I'll watch all the I'll watch all the videos eventually, but I'm definitely gonna start with the Welsh one because yeah, we're Irish, Scottish, and Welsh, so those are the legends, and the stories that we know like backwards and front in my family. Oh, Frodo, you missed some cool stuff at the beginning. You can go back and watch it. We ended up talking about like Welsh folklore, and apparently Duppy has a video that he just did on Welsh folklore, and so I'm gonna go and watch that. And then we ended up talking about ancient Egypt. So yeah, oh yeah, all of this stuff is so interesting, Frodo. So Frodo and Ash. I think Duppy is really, apparently he's been focusing on some really interesting history. So we need to watch all of Duppy's videos and get caught up on what he's covered so far. And then see how that fits into all the different little bits of information that we all have. Cause, everybody's got Everybody's got a little piece of Earth's history. So Duppy says Skoda doesn't fit my phone. My phone keeps dying. Duppy said Skoda doesn't fit into the overall objective. I wonder what my phone died as I was reading that comment. I'll go back and read it, but I mean, it's a bit of a weird legend. It is. But it's cool. Frodo, I'm just about to sign off. Been on for a while. Covered some good election integrity stuff earlier in the show. Some good stuff and some sad stuff that I didn't know anything about, but we covered it. We covered the Gateway Pundit article on Deborah Peoples. We covered an interview that Hyder Garcia just gave to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. And we covered Dr. Laura Presley's Supreme Court filing, her most recent Supreme Court filing. It was good. And then we got off into a random weird subject, but still. It was good random weird subject. Random weird in a good way. Okay, so Duppy's videos are on Rumble and they're linked on his Pilled page. Skoda doesn't fit into the overall object, which is who runs the world now. Skoda's just a supporting story for the Phoenicians. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't argue against that. I think that that's accurate. I mean, some people were powerful and had significance in their time, but if she fell, she fell. If her people fell, they fell. If you die, you die. So they're interesting though. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't argue against that. Either way, the Scots don't really run the world. Oh, I'm sorry, Frodo. You know what? I don't have Rumble pulled up to see those comments. I need to do that, but I'm working on. I might have a better computer coming my way, and then that will be easier. This computer can only handle so much. This computer really can't handle a lot. It gets overwhelmed easily. So I don't pull multiple things up. But I wonder if there's a way for me to connect the comments from Rumble to my StreamYard. I'm not sure. I'll figure out how to do that if I can. But all right, you guys, y'all are awesome. Y'all are kick-ass. We're all going to go and go to Duppy's Pilled page and go and follow his go to his links and follow his Rumble account, and we'll get caught up on all of his history videos. Oh, they're on Ankavanka's. My bad. It's not Duppy's Rumble. It's a Ankavanka. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I will go live again randomly soon. And the next time I go live, hopefully we'll all have caught up on some of Duppy's historical context videos. So I'm interested. I'm gonna go watch the one he did on Wales right now because I love that stuff. Okay, y'all have a good night. I will see y'all soon. It's always awkward ending my stream because it's like not smooth sometimes.
Evil is amongst us. Stay back, boy. This calls for divine intervention. I kick ass for the Lord.